Hello guys, welcome to Java Full Stack class. Today we are going to learn about some of the input controls in the form. So today we are going to learn about drop how we can return code for a drop down list in HTML. So here, like I want to show this drop down in a new line. So that's why I'm taking a block level element like para tag, and in that I'm adding select. First we can add label. Okay, label. So I want to add label like different types of cars, different types of cars. Okay, and then we use select tag, and in that we need to add multiple options. So suppose here I want to add options like Volvo, then second option like Saab. We can add one more, truly. Then I want to add one more options. So here I want to add Audi, and last option I want to add like Mercedes. Okay, so which file name form.html we can open with the help of live server. So here we have added drop down list with the help of select and option tag. So like here I want to add some. So here when I click on this, okay, no need to add for attribute here. So here I'm adding in select option, I'm adding name as a suppose cars, and for each and every options I want to pass value, but some value. So for this I want to add like same name, we can pass small values, Volvo. The same for other value attribute. So when I select that particular option, that value I want to pass. So for that I'm using value attribute. So here I need to change all. Same here, value as a body, value as a body, and then last option is Mercedes, value as a Mercedes, value as a Mercedes. Okay. So when I select particular options, so it will. So here I'm selecting particular option. We can fill some data. Suppose I want to select Audi. So when I click on submit, so we have mentioned name as a cars. So it will submit when we select particular options. So I have mentioned name as a car. So for name as a car, it will pass that which option I have selected. For that it will pass this value. We have passed for Audi, we have passed value as a Audi. So it is submitting that value as a Audi. And for gender like female we have selected. And like now like I want to pass here one multiple attribute. We can say key, multiple key, or we can say attribute also, similar like name. And so now it is by default showing, because we want to using multiple key attribute, we can select multiple option from the drop down list. So that by default it is showing 4 options total. Suppose here I am want to show particular options. So here I am mentioning 3, size as a 3. So it will showing only 3 options from the drop down list. Suppose here I am passing 1, so it will only show 1 options. So we can mention 3, and we can see like I am selecting that options, multiple option. It is submitting it will submit that options. So I am able to with the help of multiple attribute, I'm able to submit multiple options and we can submit. So here for cars it is first submitting Volvo, then Saab, and then Audi. So same. So we are able to select multiple options. Suppose I'm removing this, and now we are able to select multiple options, but now I'm unable to submit multiple options, means I'm unable to select multiple options. uh, Now I'm able to only select one option at a time, not multiple options, because we haven't mentioned here multiple attribute. So with the help of multiple attribute, or we can say key, we can select multiple options from the drop down list. And then second, I want to add one text area. So with the help of text area, we can add unlimited characters with the help of text area. So text area also we use in a form to add a text, to add a large amount of data. And we can say if when I want to add feedback, for that we use text area. So using text area tag, we can mention text area in a HTML. And here, like by default, one to say, so by default is showing that much width. So we can increase that height and width as per our requirement. So we need to pass two attributes like columns and rows. Suppose I want to pass, that means as per our requirement, we want to add some extra width and height, so we can use columns and rows attribute for that. So as now we are able to increase the text area height and width. And here also I want to add placeholder like feedback. Feedback. And okay, and also I want to add name attribute here. Suppose feedback. Okay, and then we can see here, and I want to also add one label for this text area. So we can add label as a feedback. Okay, so when I click on this, I want to select that text area. So we can add 4 attribute here. Suppose text area, same, with the same name I want to pass ID here. I need to pass ID here. So text area we can pass here. So then we are able to, when I click on feedback, it will focus that text area. Okay, so now I want to add, and there is some attributes. So with the help of attributes, we can add some validation. Suppose here I want to add, suppose this, okay, not this, this last name. For this last name text, input text box, I want to disable this field. I don't want to add data for this field, so we can disable with the help of disable keyword. Just okay, 1 minute, we need to add disable. So it will, so now it is disabled. We are not able to add any data, we are not able to focus. Click on this text area, because we have mentioned key as a disable, so that's why. And suppose for this first name I want to add default value, suppose Radha. And also I want to add one key as a read only, or we can say attribute read only. So we can read that value, but we are not able to update that. We cannot change that value. And suppose I want to remove, but I am unable to remove this value. And also I am not able to add some new value here, because we have passed for first name, we have passed as a default value as a Radha. So it will, when I selecting some data, suppose here I'm adding some data, then we can select gender as a female, then different types of cars. Suppose here I'm adding, we can change React. Okay, and we are submitting this data. So for feedback, it is passing React, because in feedback we have mentioned which what feedback as a React, then car as a sub, gender as a female, and first name is a Radha, because by default we can read that value, but we are unable to update that value. By default we have passed that value as a which value, Radha. So that's why it is passing that value, but here we are unable to update that value. So with the help of read only key, we can only read that value. Okay, and one more key is like multiple disable. Okay, and like for this password I want to add required key. So when we use required, suppose just I'm adding data for like it is disabled, just pass I'm adding data for gender, then like by default it has a first name as a Radha, then suppose in a drop downs I'm selecting car and directly selecting submitting that data. But like for password field I have passed like required key as a required, so it is showing validation like please fill out this field, because we have mentioned like it is a required. So and also we can add span, using span, it is important. So it is an important field, so we need to fill for that. So in some of the forms we need to fill some like some required data. We are not able to we can't skip that data. We must need to fill that data. With the help of this symbol it is showing same like this. And one more thing I want to add, for this last name I am adding one more property. We can format this text box input controls, so we can easily understand. And here I want to, okay, for this disable, no, here for this, okay, suppose for email, for first name, suppose I want to remove this. So here I want to add one more keys like max length and mean length. So max length I'm passing 10 and mean length I'm passing as a 2. Here mean length I'm passing as a 2 and max length I'm passing as a 10. So up to, from 2 to up to 10, that much length we can add for this which label first name. For we can add first name. Okay, for first name, suppose here I'm adding only 1, then suppose 1 2 3, and then password, suppose I'm adding female, we can select these options, and also here React, and we are submitting this data. So here it is showing like please lengthen this text to 2 characters or more. You are currently using 1 character, because we have mentioned max length and mean length. We need to we must need to pass at least 2 characters here up to 10. So suppose I'm passing it. Now we are able to here, and also it is showing validation for this email ID like please include an at the rate in the email address 123 is missing as a at the rate. So we can mention at the rate, and I'm trying to select. So now again it is showing like please enter a part of following at the rate dot one to at the rate. After at the rate we need to use dot. We can add dot com 123. Means after that also we need to pass some values, and now we are able to pass this data like email as a 123. Same for this data, and percent it is passing 401 and then 2 1 2 3 40% 40. So all data is passing now. And one more thing, I want to add data list in a form. So same, just drop down list and data list, like what is the difference in between data list and drop down list? So data list, like by default I want to show some options in a list, so we can use data list. And drop down list means we can manually so with the same, just here we need to use data list same, but by default we want to show some options, and from these options we can pick up, we can select one of the option from this default list with the help of data list. So using data list, so here we can add label first. Suppose label I want to add which country do you want to visit, which country do you want to visit. Okay, then I want to add, we need to add, because we are selecting some options, so we need to select some options from the text box. So first we need to use input text box for that, and then after we can add data list here. So in a input text box, after that we need to use options. Value is equal to, so I'm passing suppose Japan. We can copy these options. How much date options we want to add, that much options we can copy. Suppose Japan, India, USA, then France, and suppose Australia, okay, fine. And then okay, data list, and in a input text box I'm passing name attribute. Suppose visited country, visited country, visited country. Okay, and we need to pass one more attribute, like I need to connect data list to the input text box, because we are pick up we are pick upping some values, some options from the data list, but like first, and then that value will be visible into the text box, input text box. So for that we need to use one attribute like list. And first in data list I'm mentioning id attribute. So same id and list attribute similar, like when I click on label I want to focus particular text box, so we are using for an id. So similar like this, if I want to like when I click on particular option it will visible into the input text box. So here we need to pass list attribute. So in a list I will pass suppose a country, and same value I need to pass in id here. Then we can select that drop down list, drop down options from the data list when we pass list and id as the same value. And suppose max length I want to pass, no need to pass. Suppose I'm passing max length here. Okay, we can see. So by default, just when we click on this input text box, so it is showing by default some options because we have added that options. So Japan, India, USA. So I'm selecting USA, and we can submit that value, and we need to also submit that data also here. Email, suppose I don't have to add, and here we need to add data. Okay, here female, then, and I want to submit. So now visited country as a, we have selected which option, USA. So a visited country, it is showing value as a USA. And then feedback we haven't mentioned. Cars we selected as a sub, then gender as a female, and that value first name as a 123. Okay, so that way we can add this value. Okay,